Hello, everyone. It's another awesome week in sports. A lot of
Man,
surprises going over the weekend. I got all types of questions, and we have a few things that we're gonna go over while Mr. J is able to be here. And so let's get started. All right, so we'll start with the NBA because I'm sorry, I got questions. What happened to Detroit? Because Orlando is looking like Detroit might be in trouble.
I think Detroit got first game out, first game being number one, a number one seed, young team. They got caught with their pants down. They star showed up. He dropped his 40, but everybody else did not show up. And that's on JB and that's on his team for getting them prepped because it's not like JB does not have playoff experience as a
Yeah,
coach.
and it's like did they watch and see? Um, okay, did Karma get Charlotte?
No, no. I
Because
think
because I turned that on in the second quarter and I looked at that score and I'm like, that
that
was
game,
my first thought. Like, uh-oh,
but
Karma.
that game was in Orlando that Charlotte played, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
It's a difference between playing at home and having the energy at home and playing on the road after you used all that energy
Okay.
to try to match that
Yeah.
up again.
Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, they basically they got
But
dominated, and
but that's Charlotte.
the
That's been
the
Charlotte's MO all year.
the closest they came to like they didn't finish the job. Had they gotten them like eliminated people because of all that foul trouble because they was being so physical with Charlotte, had they like literally eliminated people, then they might have had a shot. But it seemed like every time they would get it close, Orlando would go, "Oh no, I'm sorry, y'all. You honestly think that we about to lose this game here?" It's like, oh, get it close, get it close. And then the last time I remember they got it down to 1 point, and then Orlando was like, okay, you know what? Enough of this. And then it was like there was no looking back at that point. So I mean, it just like I said, as soon as I saw the score in the second quarter, I'm like, uh-oh. It's like that don't uh-oh. Like Like, did karma get you, bro? I mean, did y'all? I don't
Uh,
know. I kind of felt like karma kind of smacked him a little bit, but
I think I think I think Charlotte. I'll give you this comparison.
okay.
Charlotte and Golden State was the exact same team to me. If they get rolling and they hot, they could beat anybody. But if they ain't hitting, they ain't beating nobody. Now the only difference is that Charlotte's young. They're still building. They
Right.
can continue to grow. That there are that you can look at Charlotte and say that they're an up and coming team, and that's a team that you will watch. Kind of like how Detroit was last season.
Uh-huh.
Detroit did that. You would keep an eye on them. On the
Yeah.
Warriors side of it, the Warriors, you're watching the death of the dynasty.
And I feel and I know we've had this conversation and we have not agreed,
Mm-hmm.
but I still feel like part of the issue is definitely it's definitely showing. And that's what's causing the quote unquote the death of the dynasty. Kind of like we talk about with Mahomes. We know that he can be clutch.
Right?
We know he can play great, but is it him elevating or is it not him not him elevating, which me and you have agreed that in terms of like elevating the team, he's not it.
No.
So uh with Steph, and I got much respect for Steph. I
Mhm.
The guy's a shooting is a shooting phenomenon, but he's their point guard.
But okay, so I knew that's where you were going with it. Now, here's the difference. Steph is naturally a point guard. If you look
Yes.
at Steph's career when he was in Davidson and when
Yeah.
he first started out and Monte Ellis was there, he ran the point.
Right.
Draymond took that need away because Draymond, they ran the offense through Draymond. Draymond
Right.
would come out and set the screen, he would get the ball, and then he would distribute off of it. So if Draymond wasn't in there, Steph would run the point. Just like now, Pozinski runs the point.
Right. And
But if depending on what is needed during that time frame, if you look at Curry's numbers for assists, he's
uh-huh.
never been that assist person as the point guard.
Right. And
But
that
that's because he had somebody else to be the distributor. That's no different than Jordan when Jordan had Pippen there. Pippen was the distributor. Jordan wasn't. Jordan was in there as the two. They had de facto one that was the 3-point shooter, be it Kerr, BJ, John Paxson, um, BJ, BJ
BJ
Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Right. They had de facto perimeter persons as the one, but the ball handler was Scotty.
Right.
So
And
I
so my thing is and that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. It's like the 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 talk that kind of gets downplayed. Sometimes it gets ramped up. Those people get called haters. And if new players come in and they need Steph to be able to include them in, and for whatever reason it don't work, that's part of what's killing the dynasty because
that's on the coach. That's not on the
right,
player. That's on the coach.
to me
And
it's on
that's
both, especially if you're the
it's
leader
not
of the
on the
team.
player because the player has to run the plays that the coach is calling. It's not like Curry. It's not like Curry's going out there and sitting up there saying, "Nah, I'm doing ISO."
Right.
He's running around and setting the picks for it. The main whoever's got the ball control in there and the coach are the players are the two that's the main culprits for that. Because if you look at any play that's in there for it, Steph takes some ill-advised shots. I will
Yes.
give you that. But most of them shots is him coming off of a screen or because he's trying to push the issue because nobody else is taking the shots when it's getting distributed to him. And you got you have with Golden State. What's killed off the dynasty to me was that you never got players that complemented the style after the core left. You lucked up on some of them that complemented the style, but you never had the definitive. For the Warriors to work, you have to have Draymond controlling the ball. You need to have a solid center that's giving screens in order to come up and give a screen for Steph or whoever your second shooter is to come off and be able to be open for threes and be able to flow down a rebound. Then you need to have a three that can drive and cut and can go grab rebounds. That's what made them great all those years. Because you had Curry. You had Curry coming off the screens. You had Draymond running the point. You had Clay out there being able to shoot the threes. You had Durant that could shoot and drive. You had Iguodala that was sitting up there doing all the grunt work. And then you had Looney down there in the post not doing anything except for grabbing rebounds and kicking it out. That's what made it work. You don't have your drafting ever since. I'll tell you what's the main person that they missed for the Warriors that's made this hurt even worse. Bob Myers retiring killed them because Dunleavy's not a good GM. Myers would not have kept Jimmy Butler. I'm just being honest. Jimmy fit a little bit, but Jimmy's not ideal for that team. Because realistically, Jimmy is the equivalent to an Iguodala.
when Jimmy came over and said what he said, and I saw it before he said it. I saw before he said what he said in that press conference about y'all want to see Jimmy buckets. That's not what this is anymore.
Mm-mm.
And me and you talked about it. I'm like, he's not. You
He
could
didn't
see
shy
it.
away from saying that his knees is going. He's not the same person as he was in that bubble that was leaving it all out on the line when he had to. One, because he felt like he didn't have to do it as much with the team that he had around him when he first joined. And then two, he getting older.
Right.
So that's why I don't I got emotional when I saw the end of the game on Friday because
Uh-huh.
I posted it. That dynasty, you're not the closest thing you're going to see to that dynasty is if OKC can keep it together. Because for a decade, the playoffs ran through Golden State,
Yeah.
but all good things come to an end.
Yeah.
And, and now, for me, now seeing the news that's coming out lately that Kerr already said, I don't want to coach for another team. So it's either I get renewed or I retire. Okay.
And Draymond was quoted. I saw it today, and even when I pulled up ESPN before we started the show, apparently Draymond said on the show that Kerr won't be there next year.
He's saying that he won't be there next year. Dunleavy is saying that they're going to do everything possible to bring him back. Kerr is saying that it's up in the air. But Kerr, you got to think about how much it weighed on him. The success from the beginning ain't equaling out to the end. So that's weighing on him in that. And plus, he's been doing it for so long as an executive and as a coach. So he might be wanting to take a break from it.
Right.
Then on the other side of it, it's the rumblings that they're going to re-sign Draymond. For what?
Right.
At this point, for me, the nostalgia act doesn't get you championships. So it's either you blow it up, you 1998 Chicago Bulls it, and that includes, I hate to say it like that includes Curry, and you start over again. I would not be upset if they sat there and they said, you know what, Steph, thank you for everything. If you want to go to Charlotte and go play with Charlotte and go back home, that's cool. If you want to go to LA, we'll work with LA in order to make it work. We would rather see you get another championship than hold on for the nostalgia. If you do that, cool. With Draymond, at some point, the antics, the most telling part about Friday that made me laugh, but made me shake my head was that you had a wholesome moment on the sidelines where with Kerr hugging all the like, I don't know how this is going to end, but I love you guys and everything with it. You should have left it at that. You had to continue to do this to Devin Booker to where you got ejected after you fouled out. That right there, that is a microcosm of part of the reason why, as much as I love the Warriors dynasty, I still have a little bit of an empty void because I feel like in the way that the league was during that time frame, they should have got at least two more. They should have gotten at least two more.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
only one, the only one legitimately that they lost and there was nothing that he could do about it was, to me, I put that more on the Toronto series than I do on the Cleveland series. Because the Toronto series, if Durant didn't get hurt and Clay didn't get hurt, Toronto wasn't beating that squad. Toronto won a championship based off the out of all the things that you want to sit there and talk about when it comes to sports, the biggest oxymoron that you will have in the NBA in the past 15 years was the fact of two players that are not often injured got injured in the same NBA finals, where the person that became the definition of load management led a team to a championship in his only year, his half a year that he was on the team.
Fair.
So
How in trouble are the Rockets?
very. This is when all your skeletons start coming out during the playoffs. And this not just in the in the NBA. This is in the NHL too. All of your skeletons, all the things that you can mask over an 82 game season, start to come out. What are we seeing about the Rockets? The Rockets became Durant dependent.
And Jalen Green is being the same Jalen Green that he was. Just he's um sorry, that's with the Suns. He's with the Suns now, but
Right.
that's what the Suns' problem is. That and plus that whole thing with Brooks, it's a double-edged sword. He's once Draymond officially sits down,
He's
he's going
Draymond.
right. And I get it. You got to have a style. You got to have a
But that
persona.
wasn't you in Oregon. That wasn't you in Oregon. Draymond has been this way. Even Izzo used to get in Draymond because Draymond was that way when he was in Michigan State.
Yeah, yeah,
He ain't changed.
because Izzo don't like that. Just like that what was the recent player's name that was kind of doing stuff like that?
I think he just announced he was going back too.
But
But it's never your skeletons start to come out. And for Houston, it was Durant, and with Durant coming in there, they center that they had took a step back, and then you have no point guard.
yeah,
You are in half court offense time.
yeah,
It's not going to
Freddie,
be a lot of fast breaks,
yeah, Freddie getting hurt killed them.
right? But you still managed to get a 5 seed. But you cannot sit there and tell me that out of all the people that came out and killed you, it was Ohio's own Luke Kennard, who had just got traded to the Lakers, who came out and looked like Luka Light and was killing you.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
not you can't you have to everybody's skeletons is going to come to light. It's going to be very very ugly for these playoffs. It's not looking at those playoffs and looking at those parents. Cleveland's going to probably run Toronto out the building. Atlanta came on strong. It's funny. And here's the thing. How many teams got better by subtracting their stars than adding to it? Because Atlanta, you got to think about it, when Atlanta traded Trae Young, Atlanta was not in the playoff picture.
right.
But because their ball dominant center, their ball dominant point guard wasn't there anymore, they was able to play more freely.
And the Lakers is another telling situation because it's basically what I said. Somebody got to go.
Now, here's the thing. The only thing about the Lakers that I will say is if LeBron plays like LeBron did in game one, where he was more focused on distributing the ball and getting this, he had 10 assists at half.
Yeah,
If he's worried about doing that and then getting his points in the floor of the
and
offense,
and everybody that for the past few years they've been screaming trade, 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 trade. Show
mm-hmm,
out. If they know, it's just like I said, if a person know that they are getting the ball, this is part of the reason why Peyton was so great. He had everybody on notice. Run your routes the way you're supposed to run them because you could be getting the ball. And
mm-hmm,
and it wasn't just words. They looked up, holy crap, the ball is coming to me.
mm-hmm.
So they knew they had to be, and I feel like that's one thing that doesn't get talked about as much. It's like you're expecting people to be a certain way, but there's no incentive. Like, what's my incentive? We
And
we
see,
we got you over here. You're the star. 9 times out of 10, I ain't getting the ball. I'm there for decoration. If as soon as a player gets that in their head, I don't care what sport they playing. As soon as a player gets that in their head, your team is screwed.
and that's why if Luka and AR can come back sometime in this series, and the Lakers are up in the series, the Rockets are gone.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
because
crazy part and the sad part about that is that OKC better sweep. They better sweep and be sitting there waiting on whoever wins that matchup. Because if LeBron is running the point, if he's playing point forward and he can let Luka not have to worry about the ball handling and just coming off of screens and doing the shooting, and they shoot like they did in game one, with adding AR and Luka back into that mix, that's going to be a matchup problem.
I don't know. I think that they had something going because LeBron finally, and I kept meaning to talk about this, and we kept having other stuff to talk about, but I kind of felt like part of the reason why the Lakers started having success that they did, even on the defensive end. One, there was the expectation for everybody to step up finally sunk in, but you got to let it sink in on both sides. You can't
Mm-hmm.
just talk about it on the offensive side, and yet the only people touching the ball is AR, um, Luca, and LeBron. You got to get the other guys in the game. Even
Mm-hmm.
even even Aiden. I'm not. He
He
hasn't
has,
he hasn't pulled me around yet, but
I don't think he will.
yeah, and but he'll show spurts, and the problem will be if the more you get him the ball, the more he shows those spurts. Then the question is going to be, okay, how do we work this to where we can keep him incentivized because he's aware that he's going to get the ball and he's not just going through the motions.
But he
Bec-
cannot sit there and get a ball thrown into him in the post and then fumble it off his hands, off his knee, and turn into a turnover multiple times during the game.
And right, and this is true, but that whole you know how some people will they complain that they ain't get nothing, and then when they get it, they
You
they
don't do
fumble,
nothing with it.
they fumble it because it's like, okay,
Oh
I
shit,
got
I
the
got the
ball,
ball.
now I got to go above and beyond. No, you don't.
No,
Stay in the
just do what you
moment.
do. And
Stay in the moment. Do what you do.
that's been his problem since he came into the league with Phoenix. He always gets it and he tries to overdo it. You are in a league right now to where you are slightly more physical, but you're more athletic than a lot of the people that play in your position. Use it. Use your speed. Don't try to. Oh, you can if you got Jokic down there on the block and you know you can't muscle him off. Don't try to muscle him off.
But and then that's where I question of I'm like okay, are you seeing a are you seeing a respectable opponent, or are you seeing a white boy? What are you seeing? What are you seeing that's making you think that you can do that you can do these things? And I hate to bring it up. I hate to bring it up like that, but I bring it up like that because there are some people that still think that, whether it be boxing, whether it be basketball, is still people that talk even now, even though there are plenty of white guys that are showing like, hey, we might be white, but we will still run circles around you if you sleep on us. And
If you are in the NBA and you're still sleeping on Jokic, Sengun, uh, the one guy that was on that's on Portland, Azula.
yeah,
If you're sitting up there,
Wagner,
Wagner, if you're sitting up there sleeping on them because shit, Chet Holmgren, when you really think about it,
right?
if you're
Yeah,
sleeping
he
on
looked
them,
nasty last night.
right? If you're sleeping on them because of the color of their skin, you're dumber than I thought.
Yeah,
Especially when it comes to Jokic, because you can't be sleeping on somebody that every year for the past 5 years has been in the top three in the daggone MVP voting,
yeah. It's
and
like,
then
but
gonna sit
he's
up there and
so
say, "Oh, this is a white
slow.
boy."
He's so slow. I can run circles around him. Like, okay,
Look
all
at what that
right.
ain't got you, because he was balling out yesterday. Him and Murray was it or Saturday? Was it yesterday or Saturday? I think it was yesterday. No, it was Saturday. It was Saturday.
Yeah.
He was balling out, and that's why I'm like, you can't. Minnesota's another one to where you can talk all you want to. Edwards, I give Edwards all the talk, get all the kudos for talking and being in that swagger. But you got to produce now. You haven't been able to produce since you burst on the scene and made that run all the way to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and I still say it was disrespectful the way people did him. They talked about, him being the face, and then as soon as he lost that series, all of a sudden it was like, well, maybe he ain't ready. What?
No, that's the fickle-minded
And
that's the
and
fickle-minded media that we live
and
in.
and that's why him and LeBron supported anybody that said that they didn't want it. LeBron supported it like, well, why would they want it if as soon as they lose, y'all take it away from them? I'm like,
Right.
what's the point?
Why
It's
why
it's
do I
not
need the
like
extra pressure
it.
to fight
Yeah,
to
it's
something?
not like, champions didn't lose. I mean, for Christ's sake, we talk those that really know the history. Jordan knows that the early part, basically the 80s, he wasn't dominating nobody.
No.
It's just his the teams that he had and the coaches that were on the Bulls, they weren't making he was making noise. He was striking fear, but that was about it.
Doug,
You weren't worried about his team. You was worried about him making you look bad, but other than that, you weren't worried about the Chicago Bulls themselves. You were just worried
no,
about
you didn't become worried about the Chicago Bulls until Phil Jackson got there, changed the
right.
offense,
Yeah.
and Jordan bulked up.
Yeah,
That's
he
that's
he
that
he bulked up, he adjusted, and because he knew everybody was gunning for his head, and he started working on his jumper. That jump up in the air, and it's like, my God, when is he gonna come down? It's like, God, that was to watch that, and I was a Pistons fan to watch that. It's so annoying. It's like, will somebody please just take him out of the air? Like, what are we doing? It's like he gets up in the air and then it's like somebody pressed the pause button. It's like people just don't know and understand why the fans that are really fans of Jordan, that really talk about the difference between him and LeBron. You don't understand the elements of what happened. His the way he evolved. The way he evolved was very annoying to watch if you were not a fan of the Chicago Bulls. It was like, my God. Like I said, when he had adjusted that jumper, instead of always going to the rim, because he didn't want to keep getting battered, and like you said,
right.
he bulked up, and it was like that was the worst thing that could have happened. It was like everybody should have just like stopped fouling him and just keep letting him go to the rim, and because as soon as he was able to evolve his game, that actually made him worse to deal with.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I, I,
that's why it evolved. Everything evolves into all the dynasty that you had. The only dynasty that we could sit there and say since the 90s that was pretty much a combination of skill set, coaching, and general manager without luck. Well, with one instance of luck was San Antonio.
uh-huh.
Because San Antonio never really, I don't think San Antonio won back to backs. It was always a year or two in between them, but
Yeah, yeah, it was.
but they was always constantly there.
Yeah,
So and the only part that you could say was luck was you had David Robinson, you ended up being able to draft Tim Duncan. But the rest of that, when it comes down to it, everybody built, and the proper building of your team was you notify, you observe what your weaknesses are, and you fill those needs in there for it. But in this day and age, with the salary cap and everything else, some of those you're gonna have to ask for somebody to step up in order to fill some of those needs. And what happens over a course of an 82 game season is that, yeah, when it's fast paced, running up and down the court, and not coach intensive play, y'all can show your athleticism. Playoffs come, that goes out the window. And you start seeing the coaches rise to the top. You start seeing the star players rise to the top. The veteran star players rise to the top. Yeah, you might have instances where a Trae Young might take a team on a run back with Atlanta or with Anthony Edwards when he took Minnesota on their run to it. But they never been able to recapture that.
Right.
So after a while, you have to sit there and really start thinking, okay, who are the teams that constantly are here and they constantly are making runs or making some type of run that's in there for it? How are they built? Start looking and mimicking those instead of sitting up there saying, well, you know what? We just going to try to tank and just stack draft picks. We're going to keep on getting younger players and we're going to try to develop them. And if we can't develop them, we'll just draft them up.
Yeah, because it's getting a level of a whole lot of ridiculousness. But because I know I don't have you long, let's uh
Let's go to the next one.
let's go to the next one. We kind of talked about this over the weekend. I know you said what you said, but I still want to kind of cover it a little bit. Uh,
Okay.
Joe Joe Flacco was talking about, 18 games and it's like, are they gonna want to go to 20 or 22? And I the money to me, the money side of it says that they're going to try it.
Yeah.
They're going to try it. They're going to continue to contradict themselves and say, hey, we're about the players and we want them safe and we want them good. Oh yeah, by the way, let's add some more games because people love it and we want more of their money.
And here's the reason. And here's the thing. Here's the problem. And I thought about it after we had our conversation. The problem, the problem that I arose with it, but it also goes back to this. You guys are collectively bargaining. You are in a labor agreement.
Yeah,
If you don't want it, you can sit up there and say no. You can have your players come together and say no and make it to where, because here's the thing, you can sit there and say no, then the owners will sit there and say, well, we'll get scrub players. Are the scrub players are going, are the UFL players going to get the same amount of money coming in there with the cachet in order to make that money for it? No. So y'all going to have to come to an impasse. And I can almost guarantee you, if they up how much of a share of the revenue that they get for it, they can sit there today blue in the face and sit there saying, nah, we ain't going to play 18 games. We ain't going to play 20 games. We ain't going to play 22 games. If they turn around and they say, we'll give you a 50-50 split of the revenue for the NFL that comes in from the television rights, the sponsorships, and from the ticket sales for it, the owners and you will split 50-50. The players will sit there and say, how many games you want us to play?
right. And
So,
and that's where the whole that's where my mind went and why it seemed like we were in a disagreement. Money talks,
mm-hmm.
kind of like with all due respect. I knew that when Beyonce was on the Video Soul with Donnie Simpson and she was and Destiny's Child was taking off and she said that there was a bunch of things, there was ways that she wasn't gonna dress and things that she wasn't gonna do. And I'm like, we'll see when the money start talking. And I didn't
Right.
have to and I didn't have to wait long. And um and she is a talent. She has earned every award. She has earned but it just it's easy to say in the moment, but when you are truly tested, kind of like me with one of my exes, I always told females up front, don't make me choose between you and my kid because you will lose. And I actually had a female test that theory, and unfortunately, I had to follow through. And I'm like, really? I'm like, what? Like, yeah, that's my luck right there. Um, but yeah, but yeah, I personally feel like yeah, they're gonna figure out a way, and I'm not gonna be shocked at all.
But my whole thing when it comes to that, like I said, all this talk realistically, Flacco's talking about that now, right?
Yeah,
Flacco turned around. Flacco didn't immediately resign with the Bengals. Why? Because he said he wanted a chance to be a starter in the league,
yeah.
and he wanted to see what the feelings was. Did you hear anything about Flacco being even offered anything while during that free agency period? Right. So nobody's looking at you as being a
And
starter.
and he did comment on that. He did have a little bit of sour grapes going about a month ago about it because he felt like teams should have been lining up. You lining up for Kirk Cousins, but you're not lining up for me. Okay. Which I mean, he's not he's not
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I get it, but then that's where I feel like this is coming from. That whole you know what? I'm mad, so now I'm about to go in. What y'all and this adding extra games? Like how many games y'all going like Joe? What where did that even come from, bro?
But then the other part about that is that when is the collective bargaining agreement up? Let me check this out real quick.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. The new collective bargaining agreement doesn't run out until 2031.
Oh,
So,
so
so they can't even increase the number of games until at least, unless they agree to do it beforehand, at minimum 2031. Is Flacco still going to be playing in the league in another 5 years? No.
well,
So
I mean,
does
if
it
he's a
matter what your
backup, I mean, I mean, he'll be on a
no?
team. He won't be. Hey, I
Does
mean,
it does your opinion matter when you won't be in the league by then? No.
right.
The opinion matters of the players in the discussion that we have. The
Yeah.
opinion matters in the players that are now getting trained in college at these bigger schools to where their seasons is going 16, 17, 18 games, and their bodies might be able to absorb that because they're playing those constantly if they running for national championships every single year.
Okay. All right. All right. Like I said, we're gonna move through.
Okay.
Um, uh, petty or no? All of a sudden, Zay Flowers is coming out saying that
Patty.
Harbaugh. I thought I was wondering if it was just me because I'm like, dude, where's this coming from?
It's coming
Like
from the same thing that
if it had came out like right after he got fired, okay, cool,
no,
dude.
it would have been cool then. Because my whole thing is that if you got a problem with the way that things are going, or you don't like that fact of it, and you a star player, don't most of these coaches sit up there and say they want their star players to tell them things that they can do in order to make it better, unless they run in a dictatorship? And they never said that Harbaugh ran it as a dictatorship.
Toward the end, when it came to when it came to
Lamar,
Lamar,
but
apparently there were some rumblings that happened.
at that point, is it because you're fed up with the inmates trying to run the asylum and not getting the results from them trying to run the asylum?
And having to take the blame for it.
Right. And you guys sit there at the head coach, you gotta take all the blame for it. No, I do not like, no, let me rephrase my statement. I hate when a player comes out after a coach that gave them an opportunity and kept on giving them opportunities. And in some of those opportunities, they wet the bed and then want to turn around and want to point the finger saying, yeah, well, we shouldn't be having practices where we hitting each other that late in the season. Question: when you play football, was there a time that you didn't hit during the regular season?
Those are usually the most successful teams.
Right, because you're still practicing the basics throughout the season. That's what makes you better. That's what makes you cleaner.
Yeah.
If you want the entire second half of the season to practically be load management for practice, oh no, Let's all put on orange jerseys so we can't get touched and get hit. Oh no, we're gonna get the foam noodles and tap each other, and that's how we're gonna make the tackle. And then you get out there and wait a minute, for the person who didn't he fumble and cost them a daggone game?
Within the past couple of years, not it's been a couple of years, but yeah, yeah,
Wasn't it
there
a
was.
playoff game?
Um,
I could have swore it was a playoff
actually,
game.
actually, he's done it in the playoffs,
Yeah,
and most recently he did it in a game during the regular season.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
what gets your
The
body used to?
playoffs years ago.
Yeah, but what gets
Recently, last year, yeah, I believe he dropped a ball or two.
what gets your body used to not fumbling when you get hit, holding the ball and getting hit?
Yeah. All right.
Goofball.
So,
Mm.
so, what do you think of of these YouTubers trying to call out former players? Because you saw what I sent you about Austin Rivers, and he's like, man, y'all, there's nothing in this for me. Um, for y'all to be calling me out, trying to insult me to get me to come out and play y'all one on one. There's nothing in this for me. What am I gearing up for? Agree or disagree?
We've had the discussion, and I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm honestly at a point to where I want to say for the first time in a long time, I've not watched any type of blog, any type of sports talk podcast, nothing of the sort, because it seems like instead of having debates about the facts,
Uh-huh.
it's turned more opinion based, comparison based,
Yeah.
and belittling based.
Yeah.
And that's not going to push the culture forward. If you're sitting up here every time you turn around, you got this podcaster talking about that podcaster, this podcaster talking about this current player talking about another current player. Why? What are you trying to do? Because here's the thing. Don't sit up there and start trying to attack skeletons in somebody's closet or holes in somebody's game when they can turn right back around and point out all the holes in your game. Oh, don't make it to where they can point out the holes of your game to where you're still at a viable age and you're not in the league,
Yeah.
because they're in the league. Austin's right. What am I gaining from coming out there and playing one-on-one with you? Street ball with certain rules. I turn my knee, I'm losing millions. You turn your knee, you're going home.
Yeah, because I guess with the YouTubers like getting players to like come out and do like events, they've been trying to call him out and trying to get
But
him to come do it, and
but
he's like,
nobody that is like that is like sitting up there saying, I want a DuPont quality diamond to be brought out of a safe for me to stand there and hold it and look at without the insurance people, the insurance reps right there, anything else with it. Why would they risk losing something that is worth millions of dollars in the long run and will probably gain in value if it continues to sustain its level of productivity, just because you want it to come out, you want to be seen with it and to come out with it, to try to gain some type of notoriety from you being seen with it.
yeah, because
It
I
makes
mean
no sense.
Austin's not playing anymore, but he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing as an analyst. I mean,
Right.
he's got nothing. He's got nothing to prove now. I'm sure if some actual players called him out, and that's basically what he said. And like now, if somebody that actually played the game called me out, okay, I get out there for that. But I'm not.
If the big three calls him, he's going.
Yeah, I'm not getting out there for no YouTuber just because you want to try to hit me up and insult me and try to goat me into coming to playing a one-on-one with you. There's nothing in it for me. So
Can
stop.
you pay me? If you cannot pay me the money that I'm making from being sitting on a panel on the broadcast of a nationally televised show, no, let's see. No, let's back that up. You are a YouTuber. I am on national TV. If you can't double what my daily allowance of salary is for me to be able to be on your show for that, from what I get paid for doing a national show, why am I talking to you? Why are we having this discussion? It's not, you're going to make the money off of me being on you. How am
Right.
I recouping that value back? You can sit there and call me, you can sit up there and say I'm the shittiest damn podcast host on the face of the planet. I still get paid. Don't get it twisted. I'm not going to sit there and jeopardize my pockets. I'm not going to tell anybody else to jeopardize their pockets because somebody that's trying to be on a come up, unless you can sit there and show me what your numbers are for what you make off of there, and then I can sit there and say, okay, if I do this, I should be able to get this from you. Can we agree?
Right.
No, I'm not coming on there.
Now, I do disagree with him on something that he said. He made it sound like it would be a shoe-in, definite win. Now, I will speak from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Back around close to 2000, like 98, 99, when I lived in English Woods, um, Damon Flint, Damon Flint used to come up there and he
Mm-hmm.
used to bring his boys,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to get ran.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking something that I think I know that I heard.
No.
I lived on Boltwood. The basketball court was right at the end of the cul-de-sac,
Mm-hmm.
past the apartments in the cul-de-sac. Everybody was always over there playing basketball, and everybody really showed up when they found out that Damon was bringing his boys up again, and it it, it, it was not pretty.
No.
No offense to Austin and his game, but I wouldn't necessarily like sleep on, because just like they don't know you and your game, you don't know who you would necessarily be playing and their level of game either. Because that always had me laughing when it would happen, and especially seeing that it kind of kept happening. It's like they come up there thinking they about to run stuff and get ran off the court repeatedly, constantly. It's like I commend y'all for coming up here every week. That takes some guts, because these boys
You
is
don't.
doing y'all in.
And see, here's the thing. That era, see, a lot of people don't realize how different it is from even 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah,
25 years ago, and you sometimes you hear the people saying back in my day, let's be real. 25 years ago, during the summertime, your hot spots was the neighborhood basketball courts, the
yeah,
asphalt courts, because you didn't know if a Xavier player was going to pull up, a UC player was going to come pull up, because that's how they got their runs during the summertime if they weren't running in Devereaux Summer League. And for a
right,
while there was no Devereaux Summer League. So that's how they got that's how they got their gym times in there. Then when the basketball culture kind of took off with the N1 mixtapes, the street ball circuits and stuff like that, you saw it grow. And then you saw it die. And now then you start seeing the pro-am start coming up and everything with it. Like Smith League. Shout out to my boy Peyton for with the Smith League and how that grew into what it is now, from its infancy into now where they have it to where college players, foreign players is coming in there and playing in that league and everything else with it.
Mm,
That's how they get their runs. But back then, you knew what courts to go to. You knew to go to Oakley. You knew to go to Fairview. You knew to go to the park that you was just talking about. You knew what course to go to if you wanted to see quality runs. You ain't even have. Yeah, you could be bold enough to sit up there and say, "Yeah, I got game," or I got next in there and come out there with a squad. But you saw college players, college basketball stars get beat in. But the problem was with that was that that's when some of them underlying injuries started happening, and then they would go back into to their coaches and stuff, and they'd be out there like, "Well, what happened to you?" Well, I was playing hoop. You need to stop doing that. You don't need to be doing that. You're putting yourself at risk. You start seeing less and less and less.
right.
Some of the diehards, they still will be out there.
Yeah.
Shoot, even now, sit up there seeing Mel Levitt still playing around in the city sometimes. When Ruben Patterson used to come be back in the city and doing stuff, he would play. When they was all able to still play, shoot, that still used to be some of the most fun rec that you would see. But yeah, that's once they start once the thought of it being an investment instead of just some good clean fun coming into play, that's when it started to die out.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Did you? No, 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 no. You said you was on
What
another.
what what what
Them
what?
them them hockey games that I checked out last night, man. The Bruins playing Buffalo. The Bruins had like a 2-0 lead, and
And
it
then
was
Buffalo
like
came back, I thought, and scored like three or four straight.
yeah, they scored like four straight, and then ended, and then the game ended up ending like 4-3, and it's like I'm still trying to like acclimate myself to it and like get used to it. I try to listen to most of the time I try to listen to it with the volume up so that I can listen to the analyst like explain everything that's happening. So,
Mm-hmm.
but considering how hard it was for like for the better part of two, almost 2.5 quarters, and then all of a sudden you just rattle out four. I'm like, all right, Bruins, what happened to y'all? What happened to y'all D? What happened to y'all D near the end there? It seemed like y'all ran out of gas.
But because here's the thing about playoff hockey is that it's kind of like the NFL. You gotta think about it. Them men are skating on skates up and down the ice as fast as they can, most of the time during the regular season, in 4 to 6 minute shifts. And then they're shifting out. And then somebody else comes in there. Then don't let it be a power play. You might have been getting ready to come out, but because you're on the power play or the penalty kill, you gotta be in there for a little bit longer for the 2 minutes while they have that in there for it. Then you can swap out. So you have to sit there and try to balance out that time frame. And it's not like football to where you can run and then stop for a second, stand there, catch your breath or whatever else, and then you run in the next play. Or in the NBA, some of them might walk up the court in order to get themselves a thing. You on skates, you can't walk. You have to keep pushing in order to keep yourself up.
Yeah,
So that there, when it gets to the playoffs, those 4 to 8 minute shifts become 6 to 10. And if you on defense and you're pressing up and you're pressing up constantly after toward the end of the game, if your coach is not shortening your bench or shortening your shifts up, you start to get wore out from doing that. And it becomes to where it gets tiresome. And once it gets to that point, it's easy. It's easy to see comebacks start coming after a miscellaneous penalty or just more fresh. Some coaches might keep some of their star players out until the third period and stuff, and start shifting them in just to have fresh legs in order to go push it in order to get to that point. Your face just made an expression. What was that?
I'm trying to figure out what what JJ had to say about McCarthy now that Kyler Murray is in Minnesota.
Oh, I just saw that pop up.
Yeah, so he says he feels like um Kyler has a long history of making plays that JJ just couldn't get it done last year.
And see, the problem with that, this is I'm looking reading it right now. So it says from Egan, we're pivoting, folks. So from Egan, Minnesota, as the Minnesota Vikings navigate a likely quarterback change this offseason, receiver Justin Jefferson has found himself squarely in the middle. And on one hand, Jefferson has worked extensively this offseason with 2025 starter J.J. McCarthy in an effort to elevate McCarthy after a rocky debut season. On the other, Jefferson knows that free agent acquisition Kyler Murray has a long history of making the kind of plays that McCarthy couldn't muster consistently last season. Speaking publicly Monday for the first time about the Vikings' new quarterback room, which also includes Carson Wentz and Max Bromer, Jefferson said he's looking forward to Murray's playmaking skills and was blunt about McCarthy's future. I'm definitely looking for those big, exciting plays from Murray, Jefferson said on the first day of the Vikings offseason program. I'm definitely looking forward to his speed, his quickness, his arm strength, and he's shown countless times over the years. And then for JJ, for somebody to enter that room with that type of ability, that type of talent, he's got to step it up a little bit. It's it looks it looks good. So it's good for him to feel that type of pressure and to really lock in a little bit and say it's either now or I'm going to take that back seat again. So it's all a competitive mind state when it comes to these types of things. So it's all about who's ready for that moment, who's ready to step up and take that initiative. Murray signed a one-year contract on March 13th, and though many around the NFL expect him to emerge as the Vikings starter, Coach Kevin O'Connell has said there is no need to discuss depth charts at any position during the offseason. That has left open the possibility that McCarthy, the number 10 pick in the 2024 draft, could win the job during training camp. Jefferson pledged at the end of the season to help McCarthy through the offseason in any way he could, and Monday he confirmed that the pair have met on multiple occasions over the past few months. Most of their meetings took place in Minnesota, Jefferson said, but others were at a designated location, he said with a smile. Really, just anywhere we can meet up and find time to really throw the ball to each other, he said. And it really doesn't have to be having to run 30 different routes, but it's all about just feeling the ball coming and seeing the ball coming out of his hand and then just feeling the impact and the velocity of his football. So it's great to just get that timing down pat. Starting way earlier now than starting in training camp. So just a little head start, and it definitely feels good working with them. McCarthy appears a lot more confident into where I'm going to be at, Jefferson added, how fast I'm going to get there, what timing to throw that ball before I break. Whether or not McCarthy truly mounts a challenge, Murray's arrival will generate a new edge in otherwise low-intensity offseason workouts. It's really good to get some good talent in the room just to give a little spark in that room, Jefferson said, to see a competitive edge and from those guys to really lock in and do what we're expecting them to do, which is come in and be that guy. And we need that one guy for this team. So I'm definitely excited for that room, excited to see what those guys have in store for us in training camp. Okay, that's a lot. But
Right.
here's the thing that I get out of that whole situation. Justin Jefferson is looking out for himself. Justin wants, because here's the reason why. It don't matter who's throwing you the ball as long as you look better than what you did last season. We just had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. If you looked at the league right now, is Justin Jefferson the top receiver in the league right now? No. You can literally put Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Sorry.
Right. Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
You can put those people ahead of him. Where years ago, Justin Jefferson was the measuring stick. When he got paid, he was the measuring stick. But you can only be the measuring stick if you got somebody adequate getting you the ball.
Right. and that
And
is
last year, you did not. You looked like you saw on his face and his actions in there for it. Let's be real. Some of his actions
because
was
he
George Pickens like.
because he spoke he he spoke up for McCarthy and his first year wasn't completely horrible like last year. Last year was like, dude, what happened? You fell, you went backwards. You were supposed to progress forwards. You went backwards. So I
Right.
could get his frustration. His frustration makes sense as opposed to like a Pickens where okay, you get double and triple team, somebody else is not getting double and triple team. They come open, you get mad because they get thrown the ball, even though it's helping your team get up the field and stuff.
Oh, and then let's add, don't forget this caveat. The quarterback that y'all let go for this guy in order to play won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's how the GM got fired.
Mm-hmm.
The GM got fired. It's like yeah, you don't have a job. It's like, but I mean, me and you talked about it. That was a complicated situation.
It was a very complicated situation.
They
But
had to figure out what they was gonna do with McCarthy, or they were gonna have to let him go. If you're gonna keep him, you gotta let him go.
right, and that's the but they put themselves. That's more the reason why that GM got fired than anything else because the GM put them in that situation. He didn't have to take McCarthy.
Yeah,
He wanted McCarthy. You
because
had
because
him.
because what's his face said he wanted to stay in Minnesota.
Darnold wanted to stay.
Yeah,
But you wanted, but because you drafted McCarthy, and this goes into that same conversation that we had about teams
but
going into this draft this week with that.
McCarthy said it. I mean, not McCarthy. Uh, he said
Darnold,
it best. Darnold said it best. He went where they believed in him, and
right?
I can personally attest that you can accomplish things if the people behind you definitely believe in you.
Believe in yes,
That's the difference between uh those that's another one of those things of the people that make it and the people that don't. It's like just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. I know I can do it. Just give me a chance. Well, they look at you and they go, "Yeah, I don't think you can do it." It's not just on the person to believe in themselves. I believed, I may not have completely believed in myself like some other people, but if I was going for something, I believed that I could do it.
right.
And if I told somebody I wanted to do something, I believed that I could do it. Was I completely like 100% confident? No.
No,
But at the same time, it's like I believed that I could do it. That's why I was going for it. Because if I don't believe that if I don't believe that I can do it, or I don't believe that what I'm going for is going to work because I don't believe that the people will believe that I can do it, then I'm not going to go for it. I'm not going because to me that's a waste of time, which probably for cost me potentially cost me some opportunities. I've had people tell me that. It's like, well, because you don't know. I do know. It's like, well, how do you know? Well,
I rated the pros and cons before I got to that point, and I say it was more of a con than it was a pro.
history and plus, as people like to say, history says I know because of this. They're like,
Right?
yeah, but this time could have been different. Yeah, the
No,
other times could have been different. Just like the people that told me during those times that oh, this time could be different, and it wasn't different. So
no.
I got to keep that in mind because I got more than the failure of the situation going on because I got to worry about how my mental is going to react to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be careful about being 100% gung ho no matter how much I want something. I got to be careful with it because I
And it
know if I slam, things could get dicey.
right, and
And
it makes it to where where that conversation needs to be had a lot in some of these draft boards coming up this week, because you got a lot of players that have question marks, even in the top 10. I'm calling spade a spade. I get what Mendoza did, and I'm all for what Mendoza did and lead Indiana to that championship. But to say that that's going to translate into a career starter into the NFL is not. It's a crapshoot.
And I think that they're aware of that. And I think Tom putting his input in is aware of that. And unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for the league and for a lot of people raising the question, that's where the whole Kirk Cousins getting the money that he wanted. It's like, you want me, you got to pay this. It's like, I'll come, I'll help you, I'll help this young guy, but you're going to pay for it.
But a lot of people, that ties into another subject, and it goes into what happened this weekend with the
Okay.
Bengals and the trade.
Yes, I was gonna ask you, like, a great segue. Let's go.
So I want, and I've watched it, and even with me being in North Carolina this weekend, I was at dinner when I got the notification, and
Right.
I was like, "Oh snap!" Because the players had already been clamoring for it to happen, and they pulled the trigger. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking everybody's about to be excited about this, and then I get home. And no, I get on the flights coming back home, and I'm reading and I'm listening to all the so-called pundits and all the Monday morning quarterbacks. How could they do this? How could they sit up there and do this? How could they risk their future in order to go do that? And then the reality started coming out this morning from the experts, the people that know how to crunch the numbers, the people that know football. And they
Uh-huh.
start telling people, if you're thinking that this was a bad decision, then you don't really know football. And they start explaining why. And it ties into my explanation of why, and why this goes into everybody that's in this draft.
Okay.
The Bengals sat there. We always talk about talent evaluation,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
So we all know that the salaries for the NFL is slotted. You get drafted in the first round, you get a 4-year guaranteed contract with a option with a team option for the fifth if they pick it up, and you get slotted into the amount of money that it is. So
Yeah.
so the Bengals, everybody's been yelling, the Bengals need to improve their defense. Okay, we know that. We looking at you look at the top 10, the top 15 players in the draft right now. Most of them are defensive.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, you got Bain out there, you got the Styles brothers, you got um
Downs.
Downs, you got all of them out there, right? But have you seen or have you heard any pundit sit there and say that 100% this person is the top choice for any of these teams besides Mendoza with Oakland?
Yeah.
I mean, with
Um,
with Vegas.
they were, until I can't remember what came up with Mesidor. I think because he got hurt, I think that killed his stock a little bit. And
Right,
then Bane, they were talking about his short arms, and then they were talking about the whole murder thing, like we were talking about last week,
right.
the car accident thing. So,
And then
uh,
Caleb Downs, they were saying has that he has a degenerative ACL or something where they not it's not guaranteed that he's going to be able to play. Well, it's not his longevity is not like known for that.
wow.
Right. So let's be real here. I got the number 10 pick in the draft, right? My draft board can have every single defensive player that's in the top 5 to 6 defensive players in there. Is there a guarantee that I'm gonna get any of them when if any of them gonna be available when I get to 10?
No.
No. So, all right. So now, let's say they all gone. And the only options I got is to get another offensive player. What am I gonna hear as soon as I draft an offensive player? Oh, they neglecting the defense. They ain't even trying to do anything for the defense. They ain't doing. See, same old Bengals. They keep on going for offense. They don't never try to do anything with the defense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So you're damned if you take the best available player there,
yeah.
right? So now let's say Downs makes it to 10, and then he pulls a Kajana Carter. First game out, running the route, first practice out, running, tears his ACL. Same ACL that they classify as being degenerative.
Yep.
Now he's on the shelf for the season. The defense does not improve, but they stand pat, or they go up a little bit, but still not enough in order to make it to the playoffs again. Then it's the same old Bengals. They had opportunities in order to build or do something different. And they took the best available player, and then that jinx hits them and everything else. Okay. So now you 2 strikes in. So you have a player, folks, and I'm looking into the camera when I say this, folks. There is not too many defensive tackles that are Aaron Donald.
No.
To think that a defensive tackle is going to be an outrageous sack machine is not knowing football. If that was the case, then defensive tackles would get paid like in rushers do.
Fair.
Because most of the time, hey, folks, let's think about this standpoint. If you know basic football, you're either in a 3-4 or 4-3. That means you either have 3 down linemen or you have 4 down linemen. How many linemen can you have on the offensive line at any given time? 5 have to be on the line. You can have 6, or you might have 7 if you got somebody come up there and you're in a jumbo package. So that means you have 7 people on 4. And you know who's the number one person that always gets double teamed when it comes to that by the center and the guard, or the guard and the tackle on a trap or anything else like that? It's the defensive tackle. So sitting up here saying that he only got a half a sack last year and holding that against him throughout his career where he's been above average is stupid as hell. But we live in Cincinnati. So a lot of people that sit up there saying that they're going to be pundits and talking about the best case scenario for the Bengals are going to sit there and say, oh, they're being dumb. They're taking a risk on there. No, he was one of the most dominant defensive tackles in his career since he came out of Clemson. Uh-oh, what?
OBJ back with working out with the Giants.
Giants, yeah, I just seen that one too. I just seen that one pop up. But he's one of the top. Now, let's think about
Right.
the math.
Yeah.
Let's think about the math here. So we would be mad if the Bengals sat there and they signed him to a bad deal, right?
Of course.
The Bengals added a 1-year, $28 million contract to now he's under their control for 3 years. They hold the control. They can cut him after a season and he does not get paid any of that. So you cannot sit there and if it goes wrong, they can get rid of him in a year and be able to do what they need to do in order to try to restock it or reload it in there. And they still have options in the later rounds in order to lock them in. So let's get this straight. We have gotten noticeably better on our defensive line for at least this season with the known all-pro defensive tackle in the middle.
And people, like you said, people usually be clamoring like how come you didn't get this guy? He was out there. How come you didn't get that guy? And then but this is something that I've been screaming that people do. They have convenient amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
it is there's times when the Bengals do something, but because it don't work out, you conveniently forget. It's like, okay, yeah, they didn't sign everybody, but they did sign people. And they did pick people up in free agency. Yeah, but they didn't pick that person over there. Well, again, you sitting up there, you got so much money. Are you gonna put all your money on the most expensive thing? Or are you gonna position your money where you can take care of as many of the issues as possible?
Exactly. And with this situation falling into their lap, I would rather have them take somebody that is a known commodity, a known all pro, than being contractually locked into somebody for 4 to 5 years and then they don't pan out. And then you didn't wasted the next 3 to 5 years of Joe Burrow's career because they took a risk on somebody that wasn't a slam dunk that they knew of in that position.
Now, now I will say this. This thing that people seem to be doing, and he did it with the Cowboys, and he just did it with the Giants. That's why he's not there. Oh, I still got a couple of years left on my contract. Hey, y'all gonna pay me what?
But that's everybody.
You
Everybody, they
right.
don't want.
But that's one of the things. That's another one of those things that hurts the Bengals that the people don't talk about. That's the player. That's where they supposed to be holding the player accountable. That's another
Right.
one of the reasons why the Bengals end up in these situations because somebody decide, oh, well, my contract ain't up for another year or two or three, but I came talking to y'all and maybe somebody maybe ill-advisingly made a promise to me. Now, if they made a promise to you, okay, y'all got to own up. But
Right.
the fact that you're going looking, knowing that you need people around you, you're not going in the door to go, hey, let's restructure this thing so that you could bring in more people. You're
I,
going, you're walking in the door saying, hey, let's give me more money and give you less to work with to bring more people in around me.
hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Okay.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. So one of the experts, and I didn't see who it was, sat there and said, played the whole game. What if the Bengals would have re-signed Trey Hendrickson for what he asked for? Right?
Yeah.
If they would have re-signed Trey Hendrickson for what he asked for, they wouldn't have been able to get the hybrid defensive end from Seattle. They wouldn't have been able to get Jonathan Allen. They wouldn't have been able to get the free agent linebacker because all the money would have been tied into Trey Hendrickson, and they wouldn't have been able to swing to give Lawrence the extension that they did
Yeah.
for all the money that he did that. Now, the reason why that money was available to them to be able to finagle all those those moves in there, the things that you was just talking about. When these players, start clamoring for they want a contract with 2 years left in their deal that they want to start talking about their extensions for it. Yes, they want the extensions because they want that lump sum of that guaranteed money on the front end of it. But if they get that deal and then they restructure their contract to make it to where it's cap friendly on the back end and give it to them on the front end, it frees up their cap space for them to be able to make those moves. So if the shrewd people, and I have to give Katie Blackburn them their due diligence on this one, the shrewd people with the money and the way that they structure the contracts for Jamar and for Higgins, when they brought them back in there, afforded them the salary cap space that gave them the room to be able to do what they did and be able to still swing for Lawrence and still have their cap space in order for them to get through the draft. So they played it right. And the problem that comes into play is those GMs that when these players start yelling, yeah, I want my money, yeah, I want this, I want this, I want this, I got 2 years up there. And then because they feel like if they don't give it, then they're not going to be relevant. And they re-sign them to some astronomically stupid number.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing a couple of years down the line, they tied into that salary cap, that salary cap hit for those numbers. A Kyler Murray, uh, um, who else was it? Kirk Cousins. The who else? Who took the salary? Oh, Russell Wilson. When they get
Russell
signed to,
Wilson, um, um, uh, Pat and Pat and your boy in Buffalo. Well,
and John and Josh Allen.
Colin Cowherd been screaming it the past couple of years. He's like, you pay these quarterbacks,
Yeah,
you're closing the door on being able to address the rest of your team. And it's not just the quarterbacks, whoever you pay, where
you
you
pay
pay them
for
an astronomical amount of money, you make them the highest paid. And it's like it
it
sounds
sounds
great.
good. The PR is great in the beginning, but then on the back end of it, you have nothing to show for it because if it doesn't work out and your draft picks don't work out to where your draft picks is your low end income that's coming in for it. You know what they're going to get. You set that aside every single year. You trying to balance that against your high end and then have enough to fill in between the gaps for all the other positions. If it don't work out perfectly, you're screwed. And it's never going to work out entirely. The dynasties that you see has been because they knew once certain players, if they were stars, got to a certain point, they either already had their backup or their replacement already in line, or they had a target for who they was going to replace. It was going to be cheaper, and they let them go. And what happens is, and what one of the things that came out there before we pivot off of this, before I gotta get out of here, is Carl Lawson, the linebacker for that used to be with the Bengals that took the deal that went to the Jets
Uh-huh.
a couple years ago. He was quoted in an article that I read while I was out of town, where he sat there and he said, hindsight being 2020, he wishes that he didn't take the money to go to New York and would have stayed with the Bengals because the Bengals was tailoring him to the defense that gave him the opportunity in order to make the more money. But when he left there, he went for the more money, but he had to fit into a totally different scheme and a totally different setup that didn't fit what his strengths was, and it ended up costing him to where he's out of the league now. And and he said it as a warning to players. Don't automatically always go for the money, because if you go for the money and the scheme doesn't fit, you might have got that money right then and there. But in the NFL, like we've always said, the NFL, the only guaranteed money is your signing bonus. That's it. After that, you can sign your check, fall down, turn your ankle. They'll give you your check for your signing bonus and then cut you, and they don't have to pay you nothing else. It's not guaranteed.
Okay. The part that I love about this, and then I got hopefully I got you for one more because I I would like you to be a part of it.
Okay.
Um, uh, the part that I love about that is that I've been saying that for years,
Yeah.
and it, it shows. Like if you look at the teams that win the Super Bowls, they you have those anomalies like the Rams. But other than that, most of them do the same thing that the Bengals and anybody else, even the losers of losing teams, the winning teams are doing it. It just is working out different.
Right.
Now, okay. So real quick, shout out to Victor Wembanyama.
Defensive
God, he
rookie.
makes me glad to be a Spurs fan. He makes me glad I didn't leave him, even when Pop and Kawhi was doing whatever the heck that was. And it was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick by Pop. I still got love for you, Kawhi. You ain't there, but I still got love for you.
I don't.
But um um but yeah, Victor Wembanyama, unanimous defensive player of the year winner. But he's saying he he wants that MVP. He
He
wants
ain't
that
getting it.
award.
He ain't getting it.
I know.
It sucks because he deserves it. Here's the
Well,
thing.
I mean, unfortunately, everybody that's a finalist deserves it.
No. I won't say that. I won't say that because here's the reason why.
You you have my attention.
Is Jokic's team better than what they was last year? No.
Mm,
Is OKC better than they was last year? No.
yeah,
Yes, they're the number one seed again, but are they better than what they were? Did they improve drastically from what they was, or did they stay level?
I, okay, okay, okay. I see what you mean.
So if them two teams stayed level with with Denver and OKC, did anybody expect for the Spurs to be the 2 seed?
No, I knew they would be a problem, but I didn't. I wasn't sure where they're. I personally wasn't sure where they were going to be seated. I figured that they weren't going to be playing,
Right.
but yeah, them being number two
And
was like
think about it. That's with at the beginning of the season was the first time for sure y'all knew that Mitch Johnson was going to be the head coach.
right.
So brand new head coach that was a part of the Pop family,
Yeah,
and you did know what you was gonna get from Wemby and the supporting cast because they're all young.
yeah, because yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna harp on that. We're not gonna bring sour
Yeah,
grapes to this
right.
conversation.
But
But you knew how I felt about the first couple of years with Wemby. I'm like, we got a star here. What are we doing with him?
right.
Like I was
But you
like
built it.
I need him
But
dominating like he is now. The way
but what
he's
did I tell
dominating
you?
now.
What did I tell you when that was going on? I said if there's one system that I trusted more than anything in this world, even though I can't stand them most of the time, it's Pops with
Yeah,
San Antonio.
fair. Yeah.
And that now you got his disciple in there running the ship. Pop's still there. Pop still got his fingers on it, but his disciple is that was that silent guy that sat there and analyzed everything and was running the ship behind it.
And they actually have players. I don't mind you pulling in veteran players.
No,
Pull in veteran players that's actually going to
to do something.
work in the system. When they pulled in DeRozan, I was like, the hell are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he is a talent. I'm not saying that he's not a talent, but for the Spurs, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, like you a talent. I don't know if you are for the Spurs talent. I don't believe that you've shown where you were that you were that. And unfortunately for him, I proved that it I proved to be correct based upon how he fit. So, like I said,
But
we're
see,
not disrespecting him saying
no,
that he
I'm not
wasn't a
disrespecting him.
talent,
But this
but
is
like,
why.
dude, you don't fit here.
But this is why I'm saying if you look at the three, that was the final. That's the finalists for it. The only team that exceeded expectations because of that player and what they put out there
Yeah,
is Wemby.
yeah,
So
yeah.
of course that's going to make him more valuable than two
Technically,
people
yeah.
that have already won most valuable players. One of them has been a number one seed for the past 2 weeks, or the past 2 years. Oh, by the way, that person that y'all getting ready to give the MVP to couldn't beat Wemby this season.
Yeah.
So by default, if it wasn't a popularity contest, Wemby should be defensive player of the year and MVP. But they're going to give it to SGA because just like the Heisman, just like the NFL MVP, they're going to give it to the player that is the best player on the best team.
Yeah.
instead of the most deserving.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it sucks because here's the thing that I always say. One, well, it's twofold this season. One, they better hope Luka does not come back this playoffs. They better hope because the last time Luka got snubbed for an MVP where he wasn't even included in there was when Dallas went to the daggone NBA championship because he went scorched earth because he was pissed and he didn't even make the top three.
Yeah. I got a sneaking suspicion that, like I said, like we've talked about, you can trash Nico for the decisions that he made, but the way this is panning out,
I still Nico still
yeah,
got fleeced. It's not there's nothing that you can
yeah,
even
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah. Like I said,
that.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the details of it he gets any kind of pass, but the overall reasoning for why he did it, say what you want, it's panning out.
I give you that one, but here's my rebuttal to that. Where is Dallas at right now?
True, and
And despite everything that happened, the Lakers were still the 4 seed and was in the 2 and then the 3 seed before he got hurt.
yeah,
So I can't. It still got to play out because at the end, like I said before, the what's going to end up happening is who gets further along the longevity of the career of Luka throughout it. If
right.
if Cooper Flag and everything they take off and they become better and they become consistently up there in the top three, top four of the league, and the Lakers stay in that bottom that 5 through 8, that 5 through play in area for it, then yeah, I'll say that in the long run Dallas did.
They,
But if the Lakers,
some things need to happen to make that happen,
yeah,
which I already told you one thing that need to happen. Sorry, Jason Kidd. Um,
right. But at the end of the day, if the Lakers continue to play in that upper half, that upper quarter of the West with that, and Dallas can't seem to crack and be ahead of them, then it's a lost trade. Because pretty much because we all know for a fact
oh
now
well, it was a lost
everything
trade because he didn't get everything he was supposed to get from it. So
true.
so
Right. And
they
that's the other part. You traded for players that ain't even full on the team anymore.
and let your quote unquote friend talk you out of getting the draft picks that you were supposed to get.
That's what I'm saying. Nico, no matter what happens with that,
Yeah.
Nico's longevity on that one is done. It ain't no
Oh yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He gets no pass on it, but he did save them from having to pay $384 million, which I'm sure the on the business end of it, I know that um I know Cuban still won't be happy about it, but I know the current business owners is like, okay, all right, well
Right.
you screwed us over, but you saved us some money, so it's like,
Right. And
okay,
that's when that's when it goes from being a business and being ran by a diehard fan. You're
right,
seeing that in how it plays out with how the whole interaction and what Cuban's saying now versus what the ownership of them are saying
fight,
with that.
fight, fight.
What
No,
the heck?
hockey.
Oh God. Did they start fighting right off the bat?
No, 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 no. It's the second quarter.
Oh no! See, that's the one thing about hockey. When they said the opening game of the playoffs, as soon as the puck was dropped, the centers dropped gloves and started fighting right off of it. I was like, "This is the best time of the year." This is we all. Everybody says that there's waves of the best time of the year. Some people thought that March Madness is one of the best time of the year. Some people thought that the NFL playoffs was the best time of the year. This is the best time of the year for me because the the two tournaments that you get the most out of all the time are going on at the exact same time. The Stanley Cup playoffs, I'm sorry. as a hockey, I watch hockey. I am a outside the realm hockey fan. But if there's one thing that I'm going to do is, yeah, we see the NFL celebration when they win the championship. They all stand there. Everybody standing alongside whoever bring out the trophy. They touch the trophy and then they go up on the stage. They do boom, boom, boom. Season's over. We're done. Everybody have a great off season. That's all you get. But to see how the celebration is when they win the Stanley Cup, not only, and don't let them be at home, but even the respect that they get when they win it on the road, to where the players will sit there and they go around the entire ice, holding each one of them holding the trophy up with it and being able to enjoy that moment, and then having the whole group photo with it, then having their family come out and everything on the ice and celebrate with it for it. I stop what I'm doing no matter where I'm at, and I watch that ceremony every single year because
And that
because it means so much to them. And that's one of the only trophies to where you win it, your name is etched on it.
Yeah. Now, and I talked to you about that when I talked when we talked about the difference in the draft, because I just happened upon the hockey draft and I'm like, bro, this is different.
Yeah, because
It-
hockey, a lot of people don't realize that hockey is just like it's like Major League Baseball. They get drafted, they go down to the minors. They might get
what,
some of them might get drafted and come straight up to the team, but a lot
what,
of them go to the minor leagues.
what I didn't know that, but what I was meaning was in terms of like, you know how the NBA and the NFL is such happenstance. It's all hype and entertainment. And hockey
Mm-mm.
is like the kids are sitting there with their families
Mm-hmm.
and everything's like all calm, cool, and collective. They
Because it's not
happy, but
right.
it's not it's not a quote unquote, it's not made to be like this big overblown spectacle. And it was different to watch the hockey draft. I was like, okay,
No, because
like,
both these players, see, this is the thing. When it comes to hockey, I respect hockey because these kids are in the local ice rinks playing. They're grinding, trying to get their skills up. They're hoping to get picked up. It's not like when you look at it, not every college has a hockey team. The champion was Denver. You didn't even know the University of Denver existed and they had a hockey team for that. It's all it's all schools that you don't hear. You hear about some of the Big Ten schools, but a lot of these schools don't have these main schools that we always talk about don't have a ice hockey team. So for them, it's not a lot of options for them to play. A lot of them play, and if they own club teams or anything else, they might be good enough to where they get picked up by a semi-pro league that gets them into a pro league if they don't go into college and do all and go through the college years for it. But if
right.
you go through the college leagues and you get onto the U.S. select teams for it, you become a household name. Oh, by the way, hockey's international. So you're not only battling against other U.S. players, you're battling from players from all over the world to get into the NHL. So it's a lot of put your nose to the grindstone, earning it in order to get to that point. That's why you see some of these 19, you can see the Connor McDavids come out that 19, 20 years old that be stars for their entire careers. Sidney Crosby, when he took over in Pittsburgh after Mario Lemieux came out,
Right.
and Jaromir Jagr back then. Those Alex Ovechkin, that whole rivalry when they first started out. I remember when they were rookies and was watching it because they came into the league on the back end of my Red Wings back then with Yzerman and all of them sitting up there terrorizing people in the 90s, early 2000s. So
Mm.
I respect the grind, and I respect these are not those people that's gonna sit up there and you're gonna see on billboards with Calvin Klein sitting up there, standing up there. You might see some of them, but you know what? You know what you always see with them? They never smile with their mouth open because all of them got chipped, broken, missing teeth, partials, whatever it is, because they don't care. They will smack you. You thinking that NFL is a train wreck? that CTE is matters there. You ain't seen hockey when they trying to play for a Stanley Cup because they
Right.
will sit there and lay them out like a running back coming over, a wide receiver jumping for a pass over the middle of the field with a heat-seeking missile of a safety.
Yeah. All right. I know you got to get rolling. Shout out to Solo Ball.
Yeah, I just seen that come across too.
Yeah,
The,
he's gonna miss all of next season. Hopefully, Dan can figure that out. He,
Dan will be able to figure that out.
I wish,
He's got time.
I wish they could. I wish he was able to like find some consistency because I feel like he's definitely got talent,
Yeah, definitely.
and I feel like there's some consistency missing there in clutch times
I
to
got you.
where if it was him and um well he actually the other guy ain't there no more. So
Right.
he did his last year. If they could have been like more of a gelled consistency together, they could have went farther. Not only this year, but last year too. That was always my thought of him. Always respected him as a player. And but all right. I know you got the role.
Everybody, I'm gonna wrap this. I gotta wrap up because I have to leave because I have another engagement that I have to go and take part in. But if you are partaking into what today's events are, please be safe out there. We all know what today is. We won't sit up there and say it for reasons not to get on our show. But we all definitely take heed with that. Enjoy the sports. You see what I got on. Hey, if you get a chance, the new City Connect Reds hat. Shout out to the Reds and the team in order for this new design for it. I still got one other piece that I gotta wait on to get in. Um, Also, congratulations to the Reds with their sweep on Minnesota over the weekend and continuing to look real good with how they're playing and progressing during the season. So let's keep them up and at them. It looks like they're up right now against Tampa Bay with it. Also, WrestleMania. I have not watched it. I'm going to watch it tomorrow all the way through for both nights in order to catch up with it. I know what happened. Please do not inbox me about what happened because I already know and I want to see it live for myself. And I'm
Right.
purposely not watching the Raw after WrestleMania today until I watch WrestleMania so I don't sit up there and be like, what the with it. So, with that being said, I am taking off. You guys are in the great hands of Dante Suave for the rest of the show. This your boy, Mystah Jay. I will see everybody next week. God bless. Talk to you guys later.
Right. So so looking at everything. What I'm gonna do really quick is look over some of the stories. Let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah. That win last night. Yeah, that was a special win because that blew my mind how quickly the Sabres came up with the points. I'm currently going back through watching the Raptors and Cleveland right now. As y'all know, what I do, I started all over. So let me see some stories that we could talk about that because I think I think I want to delve a little bit into. Let's see here. Where is it at? So I just found a story where free agent Jimmy Garoppolo is considering retirement. I mean, the only Super Bowl ring he got was the ring that he got when the Patriots won the Super Bowl after he had already been traded to after he had already been after he got traded to San Francisco. As far as I'm aware, that's the um only ring that he has. He spent the past couple of years back in Matt Stafford. I He's another one of those quarterbacks. It seemed like the quarterbacks they did good in the preseason when they when they were with the Patriots and when they were within the offense of the Patriots, and as soon as they left, it didn't turn out the same. And I don't know, the question is like what was it about the Patriots offense um that made it where they brought the best out of them, but then as soon as they left, nobody else seemed to be able to do so. It's the weirdest thing, right? But yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo is 34 years old. He's backing up Matt Stafford. Um, uh, apparently Kirk Cousins was being considered as a backup for Stafford. Um, they were considering having Garoppolo and Kirk Cousins back up Stafford. Uh, well, you know how Stafford is with his back, so I can see why they put that on under consideration, right? But let's see here. It says he appeared in 3 games during 2025, but did not attempt to pass behind a healthy Stafford. I wish him all the best, whatever he decides to do. He spent 6 seasons with the Pats, and uh, sorry, my back is itching. I don't know why my back is itching all of a sudden. Let's see. Again, shout out to Wembanyama. I would love, as much as I would love to see him win the MVP. I would really love to see the Spurs bring a championship to the back to San Antonio. It's been a while, so that would be even more of a breath of fresh air than him winning MVP. Although I respect him for wanting to have it. So I just found this other story. Looks like Seahawks look to move down in the NFL draft, willing to deal in the NFC West if need be. This story was brought up by Brady Henderson. Let's see here. Renton, Renton, Washington. The defending Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks, are hoping to trade down this year in this year's draft, even if it means potentially sending a quarterback to a division rival. Okay. It's no secret with us, says John Schneider during an annual pre-draft news conference. It's like we have 4 picks, so we'll be looking to move back. Um, let's see here. That much was widely assumed. The the Seahawks 4 selections are number 32, which include 30 number 32 pick are the fewest in the NFL. They also have a long history of trading back in the first round in order um or out of it under Schneider. They logically have as much incentive as ever to do so this year, which is not considered to be top heavy in talent. I just don't understand how it's amazing how quickly people move from being, oh my God, there's so much talent. Oh my God, there's so much talent. Then the day actually comes and it's like, you know what? There's not as much talent as we thought. Or, during the college season, it's like, you know what? Maybe this year's the up and coming draft probably isn't going to be as good as we thought it was going to be. Stuff like that opens up the door to conversations like the one that we had that I have with Jay a lot about, hey, let's stop predicting. Like, yeah, but we stop predicting, we're gonna stop with the conversation. Why are we stopping with the conversation? It's always good to have healthy conversation. It's fun. You have a little smack talk. You find out who's right, you find out who's wrong, you do a little smack talk, you do a little I told you so, like everybody sees me do on the show. Matter of fact, did it a lot today because a lot of stuff that has been said, I have been screaming it because if you sit back and you really just look at the big picture of it, that's what it is. Um, you know, you gotta you gotta look at everything and know what you're looking at, which is hard, you know. It's hard if you're me. It's not hard if you're a player, you played in high school, you played in college, you played in the NFL, then you get a better angle of everything. But that doesn't mean from sitting from where I sit that there isn't things that I could see that I could listen to a pundit and hear the rumblings that are going around and take that and shine it up a little bit and throw it in the bowl and take what some former players and even as sometimes when stuff gets really petty the current players what they have to say. You kind of read it and you try to read between the lines as fairly as possible, so that when you give your critique of the overall situation, you try to be as fair as possible. And the want to be right in me is just it's always there. My mouth opens. I want to be right all the time. I really do. Um, but that doesn't mean that I am. I do accept that I am human and it's just not always going to happen. So, but let's see here. Um, More revelatory was Schneider volunteering that the team is not opposed to making deals within their own division. Which my question is why? Is to me, if somebody is doing something that you don't expect them to do and they're willing, it's like you know what, I can make some deals with the enemy. Yeah, why are you making deals with the enemy? What what why is there this level of what on the outside looking in may look like desperation? It's like yeah, that seems kind of desperate. It's like the rule number one, the first thing you should not do is trade to anybody within the division, right? Some would say within the conference. Like don't trade nobody, especially if they got some talent. Don't trade them to nobody that you may end up having to see later. Person may get all puffed up and decide, you know what, you got rid of me. I don't like you because of it. I'm gonna play my best game and I'm gonna take you suckers out. Could happen, you know. So let's see here. Let's see here. The Cardinals are being linked to Ty Simpson, according to this article. And naturally Mendoza's name came up. Arizona has picks that include 3 and 34. The New York Jets, another team that could be seeking a quarterback on the 33rd pick. So what should they do? What do you guys think that they should do? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Um, Whatever decisions that they make, uh, do you think that it could lead to another Super Bowl? Is Do we have any Hawk fans checking me out? Let me know what you think. So I just decided to jump over to the WNBA to see if I saw anything noteworthy to talk about. Congratulations to Caitlin Clark, who said that she's feeling healthier, so hopefully that will help her in 2026. Um, According to Dan Wetzel, for the good of the WNBA, the commissioner needs to have thicker skin. I mean, that's kind of a that's kind of a sticky subject for me. It's easy to tell people to have a thicker skin when you're not the one being targeted or falsely accused from your vantage point. So, and to know what that's like. I feel like I I don't know what it's like from a being an owner of the WNBA standpoint, but I've had a lot of accusations aimed at me, and they have affected my life mostly in a negative way. So to say that somebody should have a thicker skin and not worry and like well that the details are important on that. She's running a business and everything she does and does not do reflects on how people think of her. And contrary, I've said this before, contrary to what people want to say, what people think does matter. You're not getting a job position that could put you in a position to make more money and have more responsibility in the company if the boss if the boss in charge of that decision does not believe in you. You can be as great of a great of a worker as you want to be. If the people above you have reasons not to believe in you, you're not moving. And I'm saying this from personal experience. So what people think may not matter in every case, but there are certain instances in life where what people think does matter. It's the difference between you getting opportunity and you not getting opportunity. And the more that that happens, yeah, you are going to get more than just a little discouraged. Take it from me. I'm speaking this from personal upon personal experience, and that's okay. I mean, I do hope that they are able to go forward and continue the progress that they've made. And even in understanding that some mistakes were made clearly here and there. Um, some could argue that mistakes were made on both sides. Just because you were reacting to something doesn't mean that it was the best thing for the situation. I've been told that many a times. And I've looked at it and looked back on it and went, you know what? I see where you're coming from, and you're right. I could see where my reaction did not help the situation. And I've seen that with the whole situation with the WNBA. Does that mean that 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 I would say that if they had it to do over, they shouldn't do it? No. Like, no, you can still do it. Just know what's gonna come with it. To every action, there's a reaction. And that reaction could hurt you. Even if it comes around at the end. How long is it gonna hurt you before it comes around in the end? If it comes around in the end at all, you know. So good luck to the ladies of the WNBA. I hope to I'm glad they were able to work some things out. And I hope to be able to check out some games and speak on the games. Me and Mr. J. And so yeah, let's see here. Yeah, let's go over the ball a little bit. See what's going on with baseball. All right. So it looks like the Astros beat the Guardians. Well, they're beating the Guardians in the top of the ninth, 9-2. The Marlins are beating beating the Cardinals in the top of the eighth. The Royals are up on the Orioles uh, at the end of the fourth, 1-0. Dodgers and the Rockies looks like that just started. Bottom of the eighth, the Reds are still winning. Congratulations to Cincinnati. about 20 minutes from there. The Braves are beating the Nationals, the Cubs are beating the Phillies, and the Blue Jays and the Angels start up in less than an hour. So with that, I am going to end today. I've had a very, very long day. I'm back to doing regular work, so I'm working hard. So yeah, but this has been another episode of United World of Sports. I'm Dante Suave. Hopefully, we'll be back full force, full time. Me and Mr. J. We all got our got our trying to put our hands in fire so that we can live out our dreams, and you do the same. You guys have a great rest of your week. Check you out again next Monday.
From a million miles